German economic sentiment has declined for the third consecutive month in July, according to the ZEW Financial Market Survey. Hello, I'm Natalie MacDonald, and joining me on the phone now to discuss this survey is Frieder Mokinski, economic researcher at the Centre for European Economic Research in Frankfurt. Frieder, before we discuss the data itself, would you mind firstly outlining exactly what the ZEW survey is and how the data is measured, etc.?
The ZEW survey is a monthly survey among 300 financial experts who come from banks and insurances in Germany mainly. And economic sentiment is determined from a question about 6-month expectations about the overall macroeconomic situation in Germany. So the index is basically constructed from the share of improved responses, subtract the share of deteriorated responses. Meaning, for example, in the current month, where the index is minus 19.6, that the share of deteriorated responses is 19.6 points larger than the share of improved responses.
As you've just mentioned, the economic sentiment indicator is at a level of negative 19.6, its lowest level since January. What are the key economic factors driving this sentiment?
Yeah, here at ZEW, we prefer to emphasize that the decline is only a small one, and I think it's quite evident if you compare it to the declines of June, which was almost 30 points, and to May, which was more than 12 points. And we therefore hope that the indicator has reached a temporary low and will start to rise again soon. However, we think that it will require plenty of good economic news to induce the indicator to rise again.
Poor export demand from other Eurozone nations had previously been cited as dampening the German economic outlook, yet a rebound in exports and imports has been reported. Where, therefore, is this demand coming from?
I only know the official numbers, and the official numbers say that this rise in export comes from higher demand from non-Euro countries. Basically, the demand from these countries rose by 3.4%, and I think that's quite credible because the crisis has not come to these countries in very strongly yet. Unfortunately, the ZEW does not give any explanation about this rise.
The term resilient is often used by investors and economists alike to describe the German economy. But is the German economy performing well in spite of other more volatile Eurozone nations, or simply in comparison to?
In my opinion, so far, it's an in spite because the German GDP growth was high during, 2010 and 2011, and even the first quarter of this year was a quite good one. But probably soon, and for the rest of this year, it will more be in comparison because based on ZEW economic sentiment, we believe that German growth will deteriorate strongly.
We're now in the third quarter of this year, and as such, investors will naturally be looking towards 2013 in the hope of an improved forecast. Have we hit rock bottom now, do you believe? And can we hope for a softer 2013?
So, personally, I'm confident that the Eurozone will start to recover next year. But due to the 6-month horizon of the ZEW survey, we cannot provide any information from the survey about this topic. I guess probably the situation or the assessment of the situation could still deteriorate further. It deteriorated for some times now because we think that the European crisis, economic crisis, will transfer to Germany more and more this year. But, yeah, I would guess the next year will be a better one.
Frieder, many thanks for your comments. That's all we've got time for right now, but we've got many more exclusive interviews lined up for you this week, so stay tuned to Dukascopy TV.